Hello everyone, welcome to another video. Today I'm going to be working on this PlayStation 5. This has been sent in by a customer and the note on this booking says that it was working absolutely fine until it wasn't. There was no signs of any kind of drop or any kind of impact, liquid damage, anything like that. It was perfectly fine and then it just suddenly died. It wouldn't turn on. But it does say that the customer has tried taking it to CEX, which is the computer exchange store. It's a retailer in the UK who offers repairs. And the reason I say that in quotes is because they don't really offer repairs. They do basic disk drive and power supply replacements, and that's about it. So they're basically part swappers. And they advertise basically advanced level repairs, but they can't actually do them. So obviously it's been sent to us. So with that being said, my name's Hakko. I'm an electronics technician. I mainly work on games consoles, but I do work on other stuff too. So if that's the sort of stuff you're into, then be sure to get subscribed, turn on the bell notifications, and that way you don't miss any future videos. If you do need to organise a repair, you can do so by getting in touch using the website in the video description, www.thecoda.repair. That's the online booking site, and if you do need any parts and supplies, you can visit the online store, consolefix.shop. All of the links to that will be in the video description, as well as some links to my Twitch channel, etc, etc. One thing that we are going to be selling very, very soon, and I say we, it's just me, but one thing that I'm going to be selling very, very soon is my own liquid metal. So for the past few weeks now, I've been working on my own liquid metal. I've been researching it for a long, long time, and I've been working on developing it. I've just been playing Ghost of Tsushima, and according to my temperature readouts, I'm getting around about 58 degrees on the back of the board right by the APU, which is absolutely fantastic. That is a brilliant, brilliant temperature. I'm going to be doing a comparison very, very soon, and the pre-orders are live on the online store right now. It's a lot cheaper than Thermal Grizzly, and it seems to be performing better than the stock liquid metal. But anyway, enough waffling, let's get into today's repair. Today's video is sponsored by PCBWay. Whether you've got a simple project that requires a quick mod board or you want to launch your own products to the world, PCBWay can help. With fantastic pricing on multi-layer PCBs, flex PCBs, 3D printing and even laser cutting solutions, you're sure to get everything you need all in one place. Custom PCBs start from just $5 for a 1 to 2 layer board with a fast 24-hour build time and free shipping on orders over $30. PCBWay are also proud to announce their new aluminium PCBs, which start at just $120 per square metre. Check out what PCBWay have to offer by clicking on the link in the video description or the top pinned comment and get your project started today. Thanks again to PCBWay for sponsoring the video. Let's get back to the repair. Right, we are. So as you can see, we've got the PlayStation here, and one other thing that the note did say was that there's something moving around inside, and I have actually heard that. So yeah, not sure if that's going to come across on the microphone, but there's something moving around inside. He said it's been like that since he bought it. So there's a good chance that this could have ended up getting damaged during shipping when he first purchased it and stuff like that. But yeah, we'll see anyway. So let's just have a look first of all, actually. So the HDMI port looks okay. The USB ports are fine. Ethernet ports fine. That sort of stuff can cause no power, especially if it's got a short. But what I'm looking for more than anything is a sign of any kind of a drop or anything like that. And I don't see any on first glance, but apparently this is stone dead with no power at all. So yeah, let's take a look, shall we? So I'll give it a few seconds just to initialize the power supply. And yep, it is absolutely stone dead. Okay, cool. So I'm going to get this apart, and okay, this might have been dropped. So we've got a couple of scratches here, and that's usually an indicator that it's been knocked or something. Not saying this customer has, but customers don't always tell the truth. You know, sometimes they're worried that it might cost more, or sometimes they just don't know. And yeah, I will say that whether it's been dropped or not, it isn't going to make a difference. And in fact, if it has been dropped, it's better that we know as technicians, because then we know, what to look out for and stuff like that. So yeah, if you do know that it's been dropped and you do decide to send it in to me, for example, just let me know, because it just makes my life easier. The customer might not know about this, but that has definitely had an impact at some point. Not saying it's the cause of the no power, but it's had an impact at some point, and that could be why we've got something loose and rattling around inside as well. So anyway, I'm going to skip to the good part and get this disassembled so as we can run through some tests. One thing I will say before I actually do skip it though is that yes, I know I'm leaving this plugged in while I'm taking most of this apart. There is a reason for that, and that's because when I am taking it apart, I want to keep pressing the power button, because that's going to tell me whether we've got any signs of life. Sometimes it'll, for example, not be able to initialize a power line or a power rail rather, and eventually it will skip past it and try and turn on. It usually gives you like a single beep, but yeah, I do know and I am aware that the power is going to be plugged in while I'm taking this apart. Okay, we've got a fair bit of dust there as well, but never mind, let's skip to the good bit. So what I want to do then is, once I've got this plate off, if I can remove these antennas without damaging the foam. That one's actually come off already, that's cool. So what I want to do then is I want to check for some voltage rails. Damn it, damaged one of those stickers. It's fine. So I want to check for some voltage rails first and foremost, because there's certain voltage rails which we expect to get before the console turns on. They're known as the standby rails. That's going to damage them, never mind. So they're known as the standby rails, and we need to check and make sure that all of those are present before we go any further. I don't really care about whatever it is that's falling around inside at the minute. Actually, right, okay, now I know what it is. It's the standoff for the SSD, so just that there. So basically, when the SSD is installed, this should be like, well, that's a long screw. I forgot how long that was. So these should be like that, right? So the screw should be there, and that basically allows the SSD to sit level. So that's what was falling around inside by the look of it. So what I want to do then is I want to check my voltage rails. So I'm going to load up the multimeter on the screen, and it looks like Bob's just come to say hello. Look, cute little thing. Well, there we go. Say hi, Bob. Becoming a common guest on the videos now. He's been in here for most of the night. I think he's in here because it's cold, to be honest. He's not my cat, by the way, for anyone that don't know. He just comes in, he has some food, has a sleep. That's about it. Maybe sits on the customer's consoles. Nah, he won't hurt. Sorry, mate, I didn't mean to poke you here. He's a nice kitty. Come on. Good boy. Alright, anyway, so as you can see, we've got the multimeter up on the screen now. So I've got a crocodile clip here, which I can just connect up to ground. And then I'll grab my positive probe. Oh, come on, Bobby. You want to fuss? Alright, I know. You're the star of the show. Alright, so if I can get any work done without being disturbed by Bobby, let's just check for some voltage rails, shall we? So, do we have a 5-volt rail there? We do not. We have absolutely nothing. Okay, that is interesting. Do we have a 12-volt rail? We do. Okay, so we're missing a 5-volt rail there, so it's never going to turn on. We obviously don't have a 3.3 there either. Okay, so this is... okay, Bobby. You can't fix it, mate. Well, you probably can because, well, you're a genius. How can I work under these conditions? Bobby, you can't sleep on a customer's console, mate. Excuse me, Bob. Bobby. Come on, buddy. You can't sleep on there, mate. Come on. Come on, good boy. Alright. I'm never going to get any work done here. Okay, so we're missing the main 5-volt rail. And that's a problem because the 5-volt rail also supplies the 3.3, 1.8, 2.5, etc, etc. So if that's missing, then we're not going to get any rails. The only rail we've got is 12 volt. So we're going to get this board out of here and hope that Bobby don't come and climb all over the desk again. I don't even know what his name is, I'll be honest. I just called him Bob because it's I think it's a nice name. Well, here we go. So what are we dealing with then? So we've obviously got a major issue here. So we've got the 12 volt, which means that the power supply in theory should be absolutely fine. So I'm going to pop the housing down to one side, forget about that for now. We're going to very likely have a short on this board on one of the 5-volt rails. So let's pop it under the microscope and I'll take a look and see, well, I'll scan through the different 5-volt rails and just see if we can find any shorty components. Alright, so the first thing that I'll do with pretty much any console that I suspect might have suffered an impact is just check the APU. And the reason for that is because these are very susceptible to the corner of the die itself cracking. So I'll just basically check the corners. I've got to do this with the liquid metal anyway, if I get it working. So I may as well check it and just move the liquid metal out of the way. Mainly the corners, obviously you want to check everywhere, but mainly on the corners. And they all seem fine, okay. So we've got a few different areas which could be the cause of this. So here on the RT5126, that's a 5-volt circuit, so we can check that for shorts. So with the meter in continuity mode then, I'll pop one probe on ground. Just test and make sure that we do have continuity, and we do. So let's just scan this area here for shorts. Yeah, straight away we've got a short here. So we've got a short on the 5-volt rail, and it's directly on this rail here. Okay. Yeah, we also have a short there. Okay, so this is likely going to be a capacitor that's gone bad. That 5-volt rail isn't short. Okay. What about this one? Yep, that one's short as well. So we do have multiple 5-volt rails short. So we've got a 5-volt rail here. We've got one here. We've got one here. We've got another one here. USB. Okay, alright. I think the best thing to do here is to inject voltage. So the best way to do that then is going to be to basically just solder a wire to this on one of the 5-volt rails, and then we can use a thermal camera to try and figure out where the short is. So I'll start by just adding a little bit of flux here. So I know the short is on this fuse here, so I'm going to solder a wire directly to this part here. And basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a method called voltage injection. Basically, when you apply power to the console, if it detects a short, the console is smart enough to shut itself down. So what we want to do is we want to force power through the shorted line. Now, if we didn't know where the short was, then voltage injection is never going to work. However, because we know what rail is short, voltage injection will force power through that line, and it will essentially allow us to find the shorted component, because electricity is always going to take the path with the least resistance. So what that means is that the path with the least resistance is going to be ground. So electricity is going to take the path with the least resistance. That's going to be the shorted component, and it should, in theory, cause the component to get hot. What I do want to do, I don't really want to risk blowing this fuse, so I'm going to solder a wire across the fuse, so it's basically going across both ways. The reason for that is because I don't want to replace a fuse unnecessarily. So let's just scrape this with the iron and try and get rid of a little bit of oxidation. There we are. And then if I just solder across here, both of these points, beautiful, and now that should keep the fuse from blowing. We don't want to blow the fuse if we don't have to. Okay, so that's the positive wire that's set up, and for ground I can just use this crocodile clip and inject onto that. But before I do that, I just want to grab my thermal camera and get that set up. So the thermal camera that I use is the Infrared P2 Pro. I've used this quite a lot on the channel, and I did receive this for free, just for full disclosure. The company did send it me for free. I did do a review on it, and I do like it. In fact, I love it. It's absolutely brilliant. So, obviously, this isn't sponsored by Infrared, but it is a very good thermal camera. And I did receive this for free when I first got it. So, one thing that I did was I managed to get this working on the PC. So, you'll see that pop up any second now. Come on, where are you? There you are. Okay, so I use a program called TC, what is it? TC View, I think? Yeah, TC View. And that works with the Infrared P2 Pro, even though it's not the official software. So, what I'm going to do then is I'm going to just ground this. And we do get a whopping 5 amps of current, and I see a little bit of heat in the board. Scaramouche, we've got a little short. I'll stop now. That, I believe, is just there. So it's going to be probably that capacitor right there. But the one thing that the Infrared P2 Pro does come with, or rather if you buy it with it, is going to be the macro lens. So we can pop that on there, even though mine's caked in thermal paste for some reason. But we can use the macro lens and we can zoom in, and we can see that clear as day. That is a shorted capacitor on the 5 volt for USB. So that's going to be the cause of the 5 volt rail being short. So that's currently running at 42 degrees Celsius, and obviously that is the hottest point on the board. It is lighting up like a Christmas tree. We've got a few reflections for ground, but other than that, that's lighting up like a Christmas tree. Okay, cool. Honestly though, absolutely fantastic bit of kit. Highly recommend it if you do this for a living, or if you even do it as a hobby but do it quite often. But let's just remove that now. We don't need that anymore. I'm also going to remove this jumper wire. So basically what this does is it just forces power through and prevents it from shutting off. And that obviously causes the shorted component to heat up. So the shorted component, even though it doesn't look like it, is this capacitor just here on the left hand side. So if we remove that, I'm going to set my hot air fairly high, 440 degrees Celsius, 40% airflow. I am going to make it a little bit easier, even though it's not necessary. I'm going to make it a little bit easier and faster by just adding a little bit of leaded solder, but it's not absolutely necessary. I have got the hot air running in the background, so that's what you can hear, by the way. If we just add some leaded solder there, we could probably remove it with just lead. Yeah, there we go. Okay, we don't need hot air for that. Fine. So that's removed, and then we can just re-tin this. Some nice fluffy solder pads. There we go. So we didn't even need hot air to remove it. I'm going to take myself a donor board. So I've got one just here. It's a little bit out of focus though. So this one I will remove with hot air because I don't want to damage it. I do sell all of these parts and stuff on my website. I don't sell the capacitors. But if you need parts like this USB MOSFET and stuff, I am happy to supply them. I'm actually going to go up to 480 degrees Celsius. Just speed it up a little bit. There we go. Beautiful. Okay, there we go. So that's that done. Now, the thing is, we might have a problem with fuses because it was short. So even though I tried to prevent the fuse from blowing, it could have already blown a fuse, and there are quite a few fuses on the 5-volt rails that it could have blown. So once I've cleaned up, I'm going to test all of the fuses one by one. So I'm going to use some 99.9% isopropyl alcohol. There's not much flux here anyway, so it's not too bad. But just 99.9% isopropyl alcohol. I would recommend using at least 90% isopropyl. The lower the percentage, the more water content is in it. This is obviously 0.01% water content. It's almost pure alcohol, so it's safe for the board. I certainly wouldn't recommend using 70% unless you're going to make sure it's 100% dry first before you turn it on. But okay, let's just give this a test, shall we? So what I want to check then is just to make sure that we have good fuses. And as long as we've got good fuses, I will clean everything up fully and put it all back together. So let's start with F7001. That is good, we get continuity. I'll sell all of these fuses on my website as well, just for shameless shill. Yep, we got a good fuse there. I do need to clean that up, it looks a mess. Let's check F7502. That one is good as well, okay. So we do have a bunch of fuses, quite a few. We've got F3502, which is good. We've got 3501, that's good. We've got 7501, that's good. And then on the back of the board, F7002, that's good. Okay, so I'm just going to check. Yep, we don't have a short on the 5-volt rail anymore. Good. That is absolutely awesome. So now I just need to basically clean up, get everything all ready to put back together, and we should be good to go. So let's just wick away this solder that I put here. Don't want to leave it like this. Okay, I'm just going to touch up this fuse just to make sure we get proper contact. There we go. Perfect. So obviously the reason that I use voltage injection is just because it's faster, and to be honest, it's going to be very, very difficult to pick up that short without it. You know, the amount of components on that 5-volt line, there's hundreds. You really don't want to be trying to remove every single component on the rail manually. Alright, so yep, that doesn't look pretty, having, you know, solder on those wires, but you know, it is part and parcel of this job, unfortunately. Alright, there we go. So, the next thing we need to do is obviously clean up the liquid metal. So the liquid metal actually fell off, it's on the desk, but never mind, we're going to replace it. That should get rid of any excess. You can normally use the same liquid metal, but this literally fell off as I turned the board around. So, what better time to use my own liquid metal? And yes, it has had extensive tests. It is completely safe to use. Alright, so we're going to make sure that this is nice and clean. There we go, beautiful. Okay, so I'm going to grab my own beautiful liquid metal here. So, like I said, well, I mean, I am a shameless shill after all, so I am going to be selling this on my online store. And basically, it's available to pre-order. It's going to be shipping around about the 1st of October 2024. I do have it all made up, but obviously I want to make 100% sure that we've got no issues. But I have given this extensive testing and everything does appear absolutely great so far. So ignoring the light on the APU, unfortunately there's nothing I can do about that. Well, I could get an angled light, but it's fine. So just look at how beautifully this spreads. It does spread absolutely beautifully. You can't ask for more than that. So like I said, this has been in the works for a while now. I've been planning it, researching it, making sure I get everything right. And yeah, I'm happy that everything should be absolutely fine with it. Obviously, if this come back to me as overheating, you know, that would be my fault and I would cover any expenses that the customer had. But this has had extensive testing and I'm happy that it can go into production. It's just that I don't want to ship any out just yet. When I have tested this on multiple PS5s already, not had any issues. Well, there we go. Beautiful. Look at that. Absolutely gorgeous. Okay, so now I can get it back together. I'm not going to fully reassemble it in the video because I do need to give it a good service. And to use my blower to blow out the air vents, I need to take it outside. And unfortunately, it's 3:33 AM, so I'm not going to be doing that tonight. So I won't put this back together until first thing in the morning. Okay, so I'm just going to get rid of this. We don't want to mix the two liquid metals just in case there is some sort of reaction between the two, but it's made of the same stuff. You know, the basic concept of liquid metal is, you know, gallium, indium and tin. However, my specific liquid metal is a different mixture to the standard because, well, I want it to perform as well as it possibly can. And it does appear as though I've achieved that. So, yeah, happy freaking days. Damn it. That didn't work, did it? Okie dokie, beautiful. Right, so let's just make sure that the heatsink itself is nice and clean as well. Free of any oxidation. And then all I'm going to do is just add a teeny tiny bit to the heatsink, just enough to prep the area. I don't want to be putting too much on because more is better. Sorry, less is more. More is better? Less is better. Less is more. Beautiful. Look at it. It's absolutely gorgeous how that applies. There we go. Honestly, you know, I'm not just saying this because this is my liquid metal. I'm saying this because it's true. I have never found it so easy to apply liquid metal as I do with this stuff. Seriously, like it's absolutely fantastic. All right, anyway, let's see, does she turn on? I will pop the heatsink on, don't want it to obviously overheat or anything. Forgot that, damn it, I always do that. There we go, that's what I'm talking about. That, ladies and gents, is a working PS5. Oh, it should be. Let's just pop the heatsink back on, get it back together enough for testing and make sure that it works. Okay, moment of truth. Display test. There we go. That is what I'm talking about. Alright, so obviously this does need a full test, but I also need to service it as well. And like I said, it is almost 4 AM. So that's not going to be something that I'm going to be doing on video. I don't normally test them on video anyway. I do have a checklist of different things which I test, and I obviously make sure that everything works before it goes back to the customer. I do have a strict procedure for that, and that prevents it from coming back under warranty and stuff like that. I will also do a stress test on it as well, because I'm using my own liquid metal, so I will stress it as best as I can. But obviously the liquid metal, I've been stress testing it for weeks, and it's absolutely fantastic. It's working perfectly. So yeah, I'm happy. But anyway, if you do want to buy the liquid metal, it is available for pre-order. If you do need to organise a repair, you can get in touch at thecoder.repair. Send me a quote request or a message if you want to get in touch, or you can also just book it in and send it over. This particular repair really didn't take me long. I've been recording, including messing around with Bobby, 59 minutes and 9 seconds. Fantastic. That's going to cost the customer £60. That is my standard minimum fee for a no power repair on the PlayStation 5. It's an hourly rate, and that's what I charge basically. So it'll cost the customer £60 plus the return shipping, which will be, depending on how they want to get it sent back. This is UK shipping, so it would be either, you know, £8.50 or something like that, or around about £17.50, depending how they want it sent back and whether they want insurance on it or anything like that. So yeah, I do like to be open and honest about my prices. So it will cost the customer, for me, my fee will be £60, because it was a nice straightforward repair. It took me an hour to do, and yeah, happy days. So with that being said, thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. You can get all of your parts and supplies on my online store, consolefix.shop. If I don't have it in stock, get in touch and I will do my best to find it for you. Basically, most of the parts which I supply come off donor boards, unless I can get them directly from manufacturer. If I can get them directly from manufacturer, that's always a preferred option for me, because that way they're brand new, etc. But otherwise, I take them from donor boards. I make sure that they're working and stuff like that, and then I resell them. If it's, for example, a BGA chip, I reboard it, and etc, etc. You get the drift. But yeah, thank you very much for watching anyway. Until next time, I'll see you all in the next video. Take care, everyone. Bye for now.